Established in April 2021, Upland Development United is the oldest and most exclusive and transparent no development collaborative in the Upland Metaverse. Contact Morecheese or Ben68 for more information. Warning: this podcast is produced by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment and contains unsolicited and heavily biased opinions which are solely the views of the individuals involved. It does not include investment advice of any kind, and you are responsible for undertaking your own financial, including tax liability research relevant to your own individual circumstances.
Taking over the Upland Development United. Total meta domination.
Hello and welcome to the UDU Podcast, Year 2, number 54. I'm Ben68, and today it's either Tuesday the 14th or Wednesday the 15th of June, depending on where you live. This week's show is sponsored by the Llama Comedy Club. Why do I keep saying Llama? There you go. The Llama Comedy Club regularly hosts Llama Palooza, a live performance and music festival for Uplanders. You can win prizes, play games just by jumping in and going live with them. And of course, the Llama Comedy Club is always on the lookout for comedy-related talent across Upland. See you there. Of course, there is a link in the description. I cannot say llama, apparently. Sorry about that.
I thought it was cool. Lamada.
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 I should have just played it off like I meant to do it.
So wait, they have different locations you can go to during. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, we should check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned that we should get them on the wine and cheese and make sure we can do a bit of a deep dive into it.
Yeah.
So we'll see how we go. And yes, the UDU podcast is always on the lookout for sponsors, just like the Llama Comedy Club. So if you have an Upland NFT or Metaverse product, service, or event to promote, opportunities are always available for sponsorship. Send Cheese or myself a DM, and we can discuss options. All proceeds go towards giveaways and prizes on the podcast. As always, a reminder that this show is open to the public and we value and appreciate your input. So jump on in, don't be shy. As always, as I keep saying, today we've got the Breaking Badly news segment first up, then updates and insights into what's currently going on with Upland Development United, aka UDU, which of course is the original and premier collaborative node development team within and extending from the Upland Metaverse. And we'll finish up with the Upland Mash, which is open for a mix of giveaways, forum discussions on contemporary Upland events, Metaverse spotlights, sponsor segments, and all of that cool stuff. And of course, the 1 million UpX wheels. Yeah, we did have a feeling in me bones that it was going to go off last week, but it didn't. So we'll see what happens this week. That would be nice leading up to Rio. And today, as part of all that, we'll be giving away a Las Vegas property. Did you get your entry in for that in the MVE server? If the answer is no,
What did they have to do, Ben?
What did they have to do? Not a lot. All they had to do was jump on into the MVE server within the contest channel and just give us a short little gambling story, which Jazz just managed to do, which was a good one. She just snuck in there. So.
Oh yeah, wait, I saw a bunch of them though.
There was only 4 that I saw.
Wait.
Did I miss somebody? They're not posting in general like we outlined last week, were they?
Contests. When did it start?
You scroll back for me and have a look, and I'll flap my head
Oh,
with the
all right.
market news.
You're right. Because I'm looking at the Chicago thing.
Yeah, so that's pretty slack. And again, no UDU people names in there. My gosh, slackos. Can't give away stuff. It's kind of funny. But it just increases the chances for the people that do take the time. So thank you for that. Breaking Badly news, the crypto markets. Oh, yes. Now, I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. I wanted to see the global market cap get down below 1 trillion, and it has cracked it. It's down to 950 billion. And I think we ain't seen nothing yet. I think there's a bunch more pain to come. Bitcoin's dominance is currently down from 46.39% to 45.1% this week. Bitcoin has dropped from about 30K last week to 22.5K this week. Ethereum's down 1,780 to 1,200. Wax has finally moved off the 12 cents. It's down from 12 cents down to 8 cents. Engines down from 62 cents to 44 cents. Ripple, 39 cents now, 31 cents. Solana's taken a huge hit, was $39 last week, was 46 2 weeks ago, and it's down to $29. EOS, it's cracked the $1 mark. It's down to 93 cents, and Polygon Matic is also down to 41 cents now. Those are just the ones that we're keeping track of. We're not financial advisors. Do your own research, but yeah, it's I'm loving it. Everything's red. Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of Matic. These prices are amazing.
Yep, I did go ahead and readjust all my daily dollar cost average just so I have a bit of long-term viability there, so I don't burn myself out too early. But yeah, still planning to ride that all the way down and back. Although there is a lot of talk, I don't know what it's like in the States or elsewhere, but there is a lot of talk at the moment that we're heading in Australia for a massive recession. Interest rates are going to go sky high and all sorts of stuff. So yes, that's one thing.
Yeah,
to be
it's
wary
the
of.
same here as well.
Yeah. So we'll see how it all pans out. But yeah, these market prices, wow. $22,000 Bitcoin again. That's just glorious. But who knows? We might end up at 4K again. That'd be nice. See what happens. In the Upland markets, thanks to the Upland's marketplace analytics, the 30-day transaction volume is down from 1.7 billion to 1.2 billion UPEX. 90-day average transaction volume is down from 92 million UPEX to 88 million UPEX, and the 90-day average trading volume is down from 7,200 to 6,668. Well, not really, 6,667, but I'm going to do what I do. What do you think's going on here? Do you think Upland, so far, like Upland's been fairly protected from global markets because it's not, UPEX is not on exchange. It's going to have an impact here, surely, at some stage.
I mean, it's impacted in its own way. It's impacted with too many cities coming out too quickly. The cities that are coming out, they're kind of expensive in a way. Like what was Las Vegas? It was a tier 4.
10K was, I gobbled up the slumlord floor, and I was minting. So I got a few around 8K, but it was mostly in that 10K range.
I don't know if that was my question, but
sorry.
Is it a tier 4?
Tier 4. I think it was pretty low. Yeah.
Yeah. For a tier 4, that was really expensive.
Yeah. Well, it was. I was going to say, I think it had a lot to do with the lot sizes, but no, it's some of the neighborhood prices were 220 UPEX per up squared or something crazy. So yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So it's like they need to start, if they are going to put something out before international, it has to be something that people can actually, kind of afford, especially new players coming in. Yeah. I know they have the FSA, but like, fuck the FSA. The FSA doesn't even, what the hell is FSA anyway? If you can't afford it when you're just coming into the game, then why even bother?
Yeah, it's mostly just for multi-accounters, really. I mean, come on. There was no FSA safety net when I started, and a whole bunch of people started. So it was, you jump in and do what you got to do.
Yeah, and sometimes
there was nowhere near the amount of tools, or we didn't even have Discord. It was all on Telegram. If you were lucky to be on Telegram, which was, what Telegram's like, it's a mess. So there was no like there was no YouTube channels, nothing. So people got to put their big girl pants on and just look after themselves.
Sometimes less is more. Like a lot of times, if you promise all of this stuff, people are going to save.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't tell people not to save, because then you're turning into real life. Consume, obey, purchase, buy. Like, people are going to want what they want. Like, you're going to you have international, you have cars, you have this, you have that. you're not going to get people to spend on an opening when they're saving for something else.
Yeah, none of it made sense to me. I mean, why would you announce why would you announce that we were going to go international right before you released a new city? Like, from a business perspective, you want people to spend as much UpX as they can. And I think somebody outlined it in the Upland Discord channel or the server, where however many billions of UpX were sitting in people's wallets, there wasn't much spent out of it at all. And yeah, you're right, because we know what's coming, whether that be for cars or whatever.
And like a simple solution to that would have been, don't worry about saving right now. This is going to be in 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they did that, people would have been like, oh, I have some time. Like the fact that you don't, or if you don't want to give an exact date and worry that it won't be in 3 months, you could say it will be at least in 3 months.
Yeah.
At least. Like, we're not promising it'll be released in 3 months, but you have at least 3 months to prepare for it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably get into this a bit later, but I think it was the Goldsmith, and he's not the only one that was saying, like, as they're starting to reflect and, process all of the stuff that happened with Genesis Week, they're starting to think, hang on a minute, you didn't really actually tell us anything. You just kind of hyped up everything that we already knew. We know there's cars coming. We know there's international coming. We know there's outdoor decor. Aside from the hackathon stuff, which there's no timeline there either, we just got a whole bunch of, this is what we're doing, but no kind of dates on it. So yeah, shall be interesting to see how it all pans out. All right, to look at the actual city floors. Now, I did this in a mad scramble. I was saying before, I get up at 3 a.m. and I still end up scrambling like mad to get this ready. But so apologies if there's any errors here. But San Francisco last week was $28.50 US. It's down, way down to $22. Although from what I can tell, the UpX price, it was $22K last week. Now it's up to 30. So perhaps somebody's gone along and gobbled up the UpX floor there. Manhattan was $78 last week, down to $60 this week. Was 115,000 UpX, down to an even 100,000 UpX. Chicago, tiny little bump, was $4.20 up to $4.25. Was 5,500 UpX, up to 6,100 and change. LA, a little bit down on the US, was $6 down to $5.50. Was 7,350 UpX, up to 7,800. And the Bronx, a little bump down on the US, was $10.50 down to $10.20. And the UpX rate is flat at 12,000 UpX. And just note that Las Vegas is 61% minted, which seems to be a pretty common number, the old 61, 62% for city releases at the moment. Interesting. Over to you, Cheese. What's been happening in Upland this week?
Well, Vegas Genesis Week. That's pretty much all I know. We got there on Wednesday, and I was able to meet that night Boulder, Uplando, and TML, and even Dirk. We went to this. Solly and I stayed in Mandalay, and we cabbed it over to the Sahara to meet up before the meetup, and it was really nice. TML's very lovely. Boulder, Uplando, very lovely people. We talked. I played craps with TML. He learned really fast. That was fun. He's a good player. And while we were still in the bar, Dirk comes by and he's bright orange shorts. So I'm like, that's Dirk. He looks over and kind of tries to sneak away, but then TML's like, hey, Dirk, get over here. So he comes over and he's hugging everybody. And I'm like, hey, can I get a hug? First thing he says to me is, who are you? All right, I have a big block of cheese as my face and Twitter. Maybe he doesn't know, so I say, I'm Morecheese. So he goes, oh. I go, I did your face. I made your face. Oh, okay, all right. Wasn't a good first impression. I digress for now. So next day was the meetup. We were to meet in the Sahara, and it was a meet and greet. I got there wasn't that many people. There was the craps table in front. They had couches in the bar area, which was nice. It was a very nice place, except for the smoke. You could hear it in my voice. I cannot be around secondhand smoke. I get really sick.
I was supposed to get 0.03, but I haven't gotten it yet.
What is that? 103 what? 103 what?
I think he might have thought he was on a different show.
Oh. So I as soon as I get to the meet and greet on Thursday, TML comes over to me, and I was discussing with him the night before about how I left my book at home. And he hands me a book, and I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I could get a sign now. I opened the book, and there's already signatures in there, which was awesome of TML. Like, so for me, time is a big commodity. It's more valuable than money, I feel. And if you take time out of your day to get something for somebody, it means a lot for me. But when I opened the book, I have to say I was a little disappointed at the writings from Dirk and Idan, which basically was like, from Dirk, thank you for playing the game, and Idan, I don't know who you are.
Seemed to be a bit of a theme.
Yeah, like, why would you put in a book, I don't know who you are, but someone else says you're awesome? So hey, I'd like to share that because I do have it. All right, so the top is Dirk. Thank you for playing Upland. Enjoy the book. No, thank you for being a UCN moderator. Thank you for doing a lovely, pixel art replica of my face. Or, talking about Upland with Ben and the Wine and Cheese show. Thank you for playing. But that was at least better than the bottom one. I don't know you. Who wants to see that in the book? The book basically is, in my eyes, worthless, except for the generous time that TML took to get it for me.
Wasn't that the whole point of Genesis Week was to get to know people?
Yeah, but
So
I'm not in the circle, and I'm not a bro.
Yeah, bit weird to front load everything with, "Hi, I don't know you." Isn't that kind of almost implied? That's the whole point of you being there, is to get to know each other.
And I went over to him afterwards, and I didn't take a picture with him. I didn't want to at that point. And I went over and I said hi, and he said, "Oh, hi. Yeah." I said, "Thanks for writing the book that you didn't know me." And he goes, "Oh yeah, haha, it was a big joke." I was like, yeah, it was almost as funny as the one Dirk said to me yesterday of not knowing me. And then I just kind of walked away. But on a positive note, I met Lizette, I met Sheba, I met Jennifer. They were amazing. I hung out with Sheba and Lizette for most of the night. I met a really great amount of the community. They were really nice, and to me, that's all that really matters, is like getting to know the people who do watch us, who do like us, who do get a lot from what we put out. And like you said, we're not here to kiss ass. We're here to have fun, and we'll do this until we're not having fun anymore.
Yeah, that whole "I don't know you, but of course you know who I am." I think there's probably two things at play there. It's either people who are just totally out of touch with the community, or they're too cool for school. I don't know.
They're too cool for school. And it felt like it was that but for the most part, everyone else was lovely. And if I had a chance to do it again, just to meet the community again, I would.
All right, we'll dive into that and pick your brain a bit later on. There are a couple of things that have kicked off this week as far as Upland goes. There was a massive drama with the USD sales. Some people were being overcharged twice, like they'd buy a property for USD, and for whatever reason it wouldn't work, so they do it again, and they're double charged. There was people that had, I don't know what were they doing. They were buying UPEX and it wasn't coming through. Big massive drama with that. It happened in the evening my time, and it wasn't really until the next day that anything was done about it. They went in under maintenance and kind of stopped it all, which was a bit concerning to see. I mean, this is a global game. People were trying to reach out to the team and say, hey, somebody needs to do something about this, but it was a good, I don't know, 6-7 hours before anything seemed to be done, which is a bit concerning. They need to have somebody who has some kind of responsibility that can address this, or some kind of bat phone, the red phone system. I don't know, because they're just creating a massive headache for themselves. Now they have to go back and backtrack through all of these Tilia payments. I can't even begin to imagine what sort of drama that's going to be. You didn't get caught up in any of that mess, anybody? No, hopefully not. There was one other thing that was on my radar, which is the Genesis Week Structure Ornament Spark Exchange Simulation. My gosh, that's a mouthful. And I read that like 5 times and I still couldn't work out what the hell they're talking about. But if you get into it, it's one of those things where if you register and you have some unstaked Spark at a certain snapshot time, you will go in for a share of a bit over 5 million UPEX. So I registered. The snapshot is going to be taken somewhere between 8 and 9 a.m. PT on Wednesday, June the 15th, which is, what is it now? It's my Wednesday today. So that's tomorrow, isn't it? Like early AM tomorrow for me. Because it's Tuesday for you guys, isn't it? I don't know. I'll work that out. But yeah, if you want to get in for a share of that, unstake some Spark, but make sure you register, otherwise it won't count. And make sure you leave it unstaked for the entirety of that snapshot period. Otherwise, again, it won't count.
I think it's tomorrow, the 15th, between 8 and 9 a.m. PT.
Yeah. Cool. I like what Goldie's just said in chat. And yeah, Goldie also said maybe he was trying to make it a joke. He said he's going to put the shoe on the other foot and front load it with, information. I am the goldsmith.
See,
who are you?
But not for nothing. And I love the goldsmith. He is my friend, and I out of everybody I know, give the most benefit of the doubt as possible. But there's just too much doubt here. Like it was harder for me to get where I am, being a female, being the only UCN broadcaster female that's not employed by Upland.
Yep.
No, Ben and I never received any interviews like all the other broadcasters have. We were always kind of left out. So to be left out in person, supporting the game that we love to play and think is great, was, I don't know, it was a slap in the face, and I'm not going to take it as funny. It was incredibly insulting. And oh, to not make anybody else feel jealous. So what, everybody else gets praise because they know how to spend money. But yeah, I'm putting my time into promoting, their game, and I get crapped on. So I'm not buying that.
Yeah. It's one of those things where we just do what we do, but you're right, you put yourself out there, even just on a personal thing, so I can fully see how, it may have been a joke, but obviously didn't come across that way, which is not very cool. So yeah, lots of stuff happening in the Upland, and as I said, we'll unpack a bit more of that a bit further on. MVE news and updates. Cheese, did we get the drama sorted out with the last of the Legends of MVE NFT?
Yes, I sent over the proofs, and he was like that it should be able to go through. So as soon as everything is all good, I should be able to put it together. Moon is done, so I can send his out. I just have to put the border on Zoe's.
Excellent. So that hopefully should be coming this week sometime. So keep your eyes out for that. Of course, the Wine and Cheese show last week, Cheese was in Las Vegas for Genesis Week. So we'll see how that all unpacks. She was flat out doing stuff there. And it just happened to be that the timing didn't work out. Whenever she was available to do stuff, I was at work. I couldn't really jump out. So That was kind of sucky, but it is what it is. This week, we're going to be doing a special interview with the founder of a very cool looking Metaverse project, along with, of course, our heavy dose of spearage. And did you see the teaser we put out about an upcoming short form version of the Wine and Cheese in the Metaverse show? These sporadic snack size videos will be short 10 to 15 minute spotlights featuring things that tickle our fancy. And don't worry, that will be in addition to our weekly long form show. A bit of an update on the Metaverse Future show. My 10-year-old has changed his ideas for what he wants to do, and he's currently trying to work out the finer details. He is a meticulous planner, this one. He's got notes and, he's a bit like cheese. If he had whiteboards, he'd be scribbled all over him. It seems like he wants to do some kind of father-son thing with me, which was a nice surprise. So keep your eyes posted for that one as well. Anything you want to add there, Cheese, MBE and stuff?
Not really. I missed doing the show on Friday. It was nice being in Vegas for everybody, but I also missed, recording the show and BSing with you. But yeah.
All right, we'll get our fix this time tomorrow morning, assuming our friend shows up. We shall see. It has been quite a journey up to this point, which is weird because they reached out to us. So kind of weird if you reach out to somebody and then you ghost them. So we'll see what happens. Anyhow, wine of the week. I think we've already had a heavy dose of wine. Win of the week. That's got to be all of the people that cleaned up prizes as part of Genesis Week and whatnot. There was, oh my gosh, there was a absolute huge bunch of UDU members in the mix, which was good to see. And especially, you got to shout it out to Musita taking out Player of the Year. That was very cool. Anything, Cheese, you had your boots on the ground. Anything in particular that stuck out for you there?
Seeing Musita for the first time, knowing like he's so far away and him being there was so awesome. He's such a nice guy, so down to earth. I love that he was the Player of the Year, and I love that his show was picked, right? Yeah.
Oh no, it was it was Musita in general, wasn't it? Or was he in Broadcast of the Year too? No, it was Loyal, Doyle, Uplander, and TML, but Musita was Player of the Year.
All right, Player of the Year.
Yep.
And the fact that he gets his home country to be the next thing that opens up is really cool. Yep. It's funny, he went up to one of the football players that were there from the NFLPA. He goes, "You want to take a picture with the MVP?"
Good on him.
So that was fun. There was a lot of great moments, like Loyal. When we were at the dance place, the Illuminarium, Loyal Doyle was dancing. He was good. He was cutting a rug there.
That's, and Jazz has said that she got the Gold Block Explorer, so that is a
nice, Jazz. Grats.
Very cool.
Grats. And there was a guy, Freaky was there. He was dancing a lot. He was very, very cheerful, positive guy. It was really nice meeting him, and an Umbrella Boy. There were so many great people that were there.
Cool. All right, UDU nodes around the grounds. MTU progress stats, we were at 53% built last week. We're up to 53.9% this week. And if you want to see what's happening in Midtown Terrace, go and check out Panorama Drive at the moment. Bit going on there, and that leads into my next point, my UCC contract. Currently, we're up to build number. It's a mess. Oh boy, I had a massive screw up on my end, and the UCC had to alter my contract and do a whole bunch of running around. So thank you to Mass Chef and everybody who had to deal with my screw up. Basically, I had listed a whole bunch of properties along Panorama Drive as being able to build townhouses on them. But when I went to start setting those up, it turned out that they were just too small by the tiniest fractions of up squared, which meant we had to switch to small townhouses. So yeah, that kind of was a huge mess to work that all out. But what it will means is that we'll get those built much faster. So we're probably likely to hit that 60% before we know it. What's happening with you, Cheese? Did you manage to get in touch with anything going on in the Bronx this week?
No, but like, buildings are going as planned. There should be something done by tonight, and then I could like stake to the next one. So that's pretty good. How about Vegas? I know you were saying before that you got some of the slums in there.
Yeah, well, I had my 1 million budget, and I was hoping to get 100 properties, but I kind of, once I saw the prices were in, I think I was minting between 8 and I think my cutoff might have been 12. So I gobbled up a whole bunch of those, and then I found a full block in one area, and I thought, well, it's a bit over my price range, but I gobbled that up too, just as a kind of future play. And so I ended up with 79 properties, got straight on the train and got the hell out of there before I dipped out of my budget or over my budget. And then I got back to San Francisco and then realized that I'd forgotten all about the URLs, their node. They were going over there for a racetrack. So I had to get back on the plane, get back over there.
So you're on here. Just your name.
Thanks, David.
Hello, hot maker.
Okay, sound.
Oh,
Let's see what they're saying.
Who we got here? Who was that?
I totally wanted to snoop in on this conversation.
I was trying to mute them, but they might have muted themselves. Yeah, what was I saying today? Yeah, I got back and realized that I'd forgotten all about the URLs track. So I got back on the plane, and by the time I got back over there, it was pretty pricey and it was almost all gone. So I had to go way over budget, and I think I'm nearly back to even. So yeah, see what happens. How about yourself? You were there live on site. How did you go with the mintage?
I was there live, but I didn't get too many that day. I was all right. So I was helping Sully get over there because he wasn't even there. And then TD was messaging me like, wait, is this going on now? I'm in the Illuminarium. Where are you guys?
Oh God.
I said, no, you gotta get to the Sahara. That was great. I was able to mint 3, and then since then I got a few more mints around. I'm trying to like get like a little bit of a spread out thing just to see if I get lucky. But if I can't mint it, I'm not gonna buy it. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, that was one of my personal highlights. When they were on the panel, it was Durkee Don, was X1 up there? No, he was going around taking questions. And TD comes in really late. While Dirk is talking, T Davis comes up to me, gives me a hug. He goes up to the front in front of the cameras. He's giving up Lando a hug. Hello, TML. It was so awesome. I was like a boss. He was a boss. And then when he was done, he went and sat down and watched the show. That was really cool. I was like, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and of course we did get the big announcement that Rio de Janeiro is on the way. Of course, no timeline given, although it does. There was an allusion, and how do I say that? They were alluding to the fact that it was going to be sooner rather than later. Whether that's true or not, we'll have to wait and see. So, within the UDU team, we've started the discussion to node or not to node. That is the question. I immediately went and had a look at I think they call them districts or something different. It might not be neighborhoods specifically, but the different areas within Rio. And there's quite some massive areas towards what seems to be the western side, and a lot of smaller ones around the coast, which, anything along the coast you would imagine is going to get gobbled up lickety split by the old collection speculators. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. I don't know, what's your vibe straight off to your dome, Cheese, as far as running for a node in Rio?
What Rio, is that going to be like a tier 1, or is that going to be like the first tier 3?
Unknown at this stage.
So I personally think if Musita leads it, I will definitely assist.
Well, I think we did mention this. Like Mesita, I asked him about it, and it, of course, it makes sense that the Brazilian community is likely to do something there themselves.
community node.
So we'll see what happens. I think some people were a bit surprised that Mesita took out that prize, but I don't think they were aware of how massive the Brazilian community is. For whatever reason, they're just all over this game and, you know, blockchain stuff and that. So, yeah.
And his stuff is really good. Like I watch Musida's stuff, and like he talks in Portuguese, but you can have it translated, you know, and he has so many different videos out helping people, and it's really good. Like if you have a friend starting, like his videos are really helpful.
Yeah, he puts out a hell of a lot of content. Now, I asked about this in the Upland General server last night. Like, I work with over a dozen Brazilian women, and I've been thinking, should I tell them about this and see if they're interested or not? How do I even begin that conversation? It seems weird. Yeah, bit of a tricky one. So we'll see. Rio to node or not. Yeah, I guess finding out that tier details is probably going to be the biggest factor, because, you know, between myself, Liquid, and a whole bunch of other people, there's no shortage of UPEX to spend on a node run. It's just whether the opportunity is there to go for it or not. I'm definitely, if it's a low tier, I'm definitely got no interest in dealing with
Me
FSAs
neither.
and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah, it's just more difficult. It's more time consuming to set that up with a third party to get those FSAs, and then it's just a long freaking wait. Like I'm so glad to have had UCC help me with my Bronx node on that. Like that was so perfect and well done. I was able to get a great amount of the FSAs through them, but it's still quite the kerfuffle.
another thing to consider too is, like, it seems like this is part of some wider, like, partnership deal, which you would imagine it's soccer, because that's been out there forever and a day. So if that is the case, we're likely to see a whole bunch of these international soccer cities get released, you know, one after the other, similar to what happened with the NFLPA. So yeah, I've got my 5 million international budget there, but do I really want to burn that all out on something that's not going to be a UDU node? And then 2 weeks later, we find out that, you know, it's Argentina's next, or, you know, some city in Argentina, you know? So,
But why do you think, all right, so I have a little bit of a tinfoil hat conspiracy, but a positive one. Why do you think Brazil is the next one? Do you think it's because soccer's coming out and that's like a big popular place for it?
I would imagine, like, soccer, there was that thing about partnerships for soccer that was floated around over a year ago. Upland had that on their website in one of the side tabs. Like, that's been around forever and a day, that speculation. So I don't know. Soccer, what else is Brazil famous for? Jiu-jitsu? I don't know. Killer barbecues? Shall be
No, that's
interesting.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to introduce Shektilin says Sao Paulo Grand Prix, maybe.
Yeah, Grand
I don't know.
Prix.
I mean, I don't know. But I do think it is a great introduction for soccer, the original football.
Yeah.
But
Formula
at least
One would be epic. I'd be all over that. But
yeah, there's a lot of people who really like that. Like in Finland, that's a really huge thing, Formula One.
nice. And I'm not going to brag much, but I did call it last week when we were speculating what the international city was going to be. I did
Yeah,
say,
you did.
I did say some obscure South American country. I don't know that Brazil's an obscure South American country, but I did point us in that direction.
So what about my question?
What was it? I was too busy
The
flapping my
question
own hand.
that made them stutter, and I had to repeat it.
Oh, can we save that for the back end? I want to dive
All
right
right,
into
all
that.
right.
Yeah, that was a good one. I was laughing my ass off, as they say. Code word for the 1 million UPEX wheels is her name was Lola. Her name was Lola.
She was a showgirl.
Yes. She's from Rio. That's
Her
right.
name was Lola. She was a showgirl.
Here we go. All right. So yeah, as we get closer and we find out more details about Rio and what's going on, we'll dive into that a bit deeper as to what we're going to do with the UDU. At the very least, I will be running for a mini node there. There's not a lot of, I know there's not a lot of interest internally within the team about going too deep into any mini nodes. So that'll be more of just a personal play, but we shall see. All right, on to the Upland Mash. Now, last week, we put the challenge out there to drop your best gambling story, real or imaginary, in the contest channel of the MVE server or in the YouTube comments. And there was nothing that I could see in the YouTube comments, but there was a few in the MVE server. And we just had a couple of late ones come in. The prize was going to be a Las Vegas property, and I've put that down as 2155 St. Paul Way. Now, I am going to give this away before collection reveal. So if that happens to be something, well, good on you. So let me pull that up now. Let's see who's going to win it. Not that one. That's the upkit. This one. Here we go. We got that up. So we've got Zoe, Umbrella Boy, God Sound, however you say that, Mitchelton, and Jazz. Let's see who's going to win. Oh, Zoe is on fire. There you go. Congratulations, Zoe. You have won yourself a Las Vegas property in Upland. Now, Zoe's won a whole bunch of stuff because she puts a little bit of effort in each and every week. Just a little bit. Doesn't take a lot. So well done, Zoe. I shall hit you up and work that out. Now, this week's challenge is going to be 10,000 UPEX, just a straight 10,000 UPEX. All you have to do is drop a comment in the contest channel of the MVE server or in the YouTube comments again and let us know what you got planned for Rio. Now, we're not fishing for your deepest, darkest secrets here, your node plans. It's just, what's your thoughts? What's your opinion? What do you feel like you're going to do? So drop a comment in the contest channel of the MVE server or the YouTube comments. What are you going to do in Rio? 10,000 UPEX available next week. All right, Cheese, let's dive into some more Genesis Week stuff. Now, we should get straight into what you just mentioned before, which was for the AMA. Now, it was very cool to see that was, and I think I said to you, we were DMing at the time, that was actually the first real AMA that Upland's ever done. You know, there was questions on the spot and there was no time to, I guess they technically, did you say X1 was walking around doing the questions? So technically they could have cherry picked who they chose, but yeah, they couldn't really do anything about the content of what was asked.
Well, I mean, X1 was very nice as well. Like I should have left him out. Like I approached him and we talked and he was very good, good vibes, very positive, very happy guy. So he was cool. So I think when I put my hand up, he like kind of went straight over to me, not knowing chaos was to happen.
Did he say, I don't know who you are, but I'm willing to let you ask a question?
No, he came over, he's like, stand up, let everyone see you. And I was like, no, can I sit down? He's like, no, come on, stand up. So I stood up and we were actually talking because they were answering a previous question still. So he's like, oh, you enjoying yourself? I'm like, yeah, this, that. So he was very nice. And then when it got to my turn, I mean, I thought that this was the question everybody wanted to know.
Absolutely.
Which was building utilities on top of properties. When are we gonna be able to receive rents?
Yep.
And then I even gave him a timeline, which was very, courteous of me.
What was so funny is when you asked the question, it started off on one end and they all looked at each other. They turned around and looked at each other and went right down to the back, and then it went right down back again. It was hilarious. It was like a Mexican wave of passing the buck.
Yeah, and then poor Jennifer was stuck with the question, and then I was seated at the moment, and they were like, "Can you ask the question again?" And X was like, "Oh, get up."
Yep.
So I was like, and I made sure, like, if they were gonna say not at this moment, I made sure to make the when part in there. Like I was like, when will there be building utilities this year? And if not, can we expect it in the next year? And finally, he then came back with a very defensive
Oh, it was a total
answer.
cop out. It was a total
Huh?
cop out. They said that, well, you already have building utility because some people can have MetaVentures and it's within a building. That is technically functionality or whatever you want to say. But yeah, that was a cop out. Renting is something that has been mentioned from years ago as being a potential thing with structures. You know, they reduced the monthly dividends because, you know, that they felt that there was enough UPEX flow in the market and that people were earning income on their own. Well, we've kind of figured, well, I guess that means renting must be around the corner, because at that stage there was only 10 people that had additional income stream, and that was the 10 better block explorer businesses. So
Yeah.
as soon as I saw those blank stairs go down and back again, I just went, oh, this is not good. So from
Yeah,
memory, I think they said that it's definitely not coming this year, right?
No, yeah. They said next year. They definitely said it won't be this year. It'll be next year. And God, I wanted to say something. Shit, I forgot it.
Sorry.
I was trying-
Perhaps that's like you would have seen T Davis's team's pitch for the hackathon. Like, that was epic what they did as far as like going into a building and decking out or
Oh yeah.
furnishing all the individual units within them. If there's no rental system in place and no plans for that at all, clearly there's no development happening at all with that.
I just remembered.
Oh, sorry.
If they don't have a way to earn income on your properties through building utilities, there is no reason why they should ever touch that percentage rate again for dividends until
Yes.
that's implemented.
I think it might have been Kaiser or somebody else in the community was saying that, well, surely because nobody's spending UPEX and there's so much coming out, surely they're going to raise the rates. But I think it's one of those tax things where once it goes down, it's never going to go back up again.
Well, he did say that though. Dirk said, it could go either way. It could go down. It could go up.
Could.
Which it's never going to go up.
Talk is cheap. We shall see. I don't know. Yeah, that kind of concerned me a fair bit because, there's not too many people in the community that have literally spent more on building properties. There's a few people that have just been buying them up, but yeah, I've put a lot of time, effort, UPEX into it for that future play. So that was a little bit concerning, but it'll get there. It's just one of those things. And there was also the thing where we found out last week, the Goldsmith let us know about the declaring your main residence, and Shackleton has just mentioned that as well. For community governments, she says this seems related to nodes and becoming collections and related to the ability to collect rent. Thoughts? Yeah, that as we said with Goldsmith, Cheese and I kind of jumped all over him when he mentioned that before. That's all well known. We knew that's kind of what that was kind of one of the main catalysts for what kicked off with the whole node concept when we started that with the UDU, was exactly that. So we knew that was coming. Again, it's one of those things where we didn't really get any new information aside from the Rio thing. It was just mostly repackaging of stuff, hyped up and kind of loosely talked about. I don't know.
I personally, I don't need to know exactly when they want to do stuff, but I would like a time frame. Like you could say within this amount of time. It may be a little bit longer, but I think people I don't really mind if building utility comes next year. I just want to know so I can concentrate more. I know I have more time for it, so I could put a little bit more efforts here, and this and that, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind if you need to take a little extra time to do certain things, whatever it happens. Just give me an idea so I can kind of work on other stuff as well.
I mean, we've been building for over a year. If they had have front loaded that with, yes, you can build, but you won't be able to collect any rent or essentially do anything with these buildings for potentially 2 years, that might have changed the way that people approach things. However, since that we do have buildings up, there are different systems in place, like structure ornaments for buildings. That's a good system, and it's been good to see that they've pushed that out to community, as far as the community building stuff. And of course, outdoor decor. One of the things that was cool to see was that Cheese, myself, and DTEC's business, Samurai Aquatics, that kind of got highlighted, not in name, but some of our decor items that are on the way were shown as part of that presentation, which was
No,
cool.
I mean, your mask was right there. I was like, Dad.
Yeah, I mean, people who know, people who don't know would have just thought whatever, but yeah. So, can you have outdoor decor and ornaments without the buildings? No, you can't really. So, it's kind of one of those things where we're all just going to have a bit of patience. But yeah, as far as dropping the dividend rate again, I mean, how would you possibly justify that?
Yeah, you can't. There's no way.
But as we keep saying, we don't have PhDs in economics, so who knows? There may be some grander master plan at play here. We shall see. One thing we didn't touch on at all, Cheese, was cars.
Yeah, like I thought we were going to all be able to buy one. Like I thought there was a way to register Thursday, and then like how you buy Spark,
Yeah.
and you just buy a car. I had a completely different image in my mind how this was gonna go.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna come onto the market and everybody was gonna be able to kind of like have a chance to purchase it just like you would a terminal or Spark.
Everybody did. Instead, we got a silent auction that wasn't silent. That was kind of hilarious to see that. I put a bid in at the maximum that I was willing to spend. I wasn't going to get sucked into FOMO. I think, what did people pay? 3 million UPEX or something for the first pick, I think it was. So most of them went between, those 21 went for between, what was it, 3 and I think the lowest was 2.5 million UPEX or something. That's pretty cool as a trophy piece. I mean, if you paid that much, it's not like you're going to use that as your race car or something. That's going to be something you put away in the cabinet. So we shall see. I was just looking at the prices and thinking, well, once cars do become available, surely with 2.5 million UPEX, I could buy 3 or 4 cars. So we shall see. What's happening here?
I also, sorry guys, I also got pretty excited. I believe it was Metaverse Buck who got up and was asking about outside parties, like network, like third party networks coming in, kind of working with the Upland players to create like another kind of layer of utility and whatnot. And this opens the door to a lot of really awesome things, because the first answer out of the panel's mouths was yes.
I don't think they really understood his question, and I think he was another one where they asked him to say it again. I think where we dove into Buck's brain as part of the Wine and Cheese show, and one of his whole angles is getting in touch with real life businesses and helping them move over to Upland and become involved. And as part of that, he not literally, but he's guiding them through setting up an account, getting to director status, applying for their block explorer that's associated with their branding. One of his concerns is, how can he do that without being flagged for multi-accounting or something like that? Is there an official way that can be done? So they kind of, it was one of those answers where they kind of just talked around it with fancy buzzwords, I think. See what happens. One of the things that I picked up from the AMA too was that Jeremy, the guy that was on the URL who discussed all the things about racing, he fessed up to his faux pas, which was him mentioning as part of that chat something about cars in San Jose, where he just mixed that up, and he did actually mean Santa Clara. So that was cool to see him own that. Anything jump out from the AMA?
Not really, but that Santa Clara thing made me think of, if you go to the place there, you can see the cars lining up as they're being produced.
A tiny.
They're tiny.
A
The yellow one
tiny.
looks hot. The yellow one is so hot.
Is it? Yeah. So what do you personally got your eyes out for? Are you gonna go for the race car thingo? Are you gonna go for a truck, a van? Are you practical? Are you a soccer mom, or what are you? Midlife crisis?
I'm more about utility, and I want to be able to do something with it. So either like semi to help bring stuff back and forth.
Yep.
To upload, like I could transfer your vehicle on my big ass car,
Yeah.
or even like a van where I can have multiple people in there and it can transport them to other places, because you really have to have a vehicle, and I don't think you can bring your vehicle to another place. That's the whole home ownership thing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I would imagine a van is like you say, like let's come and jump in the van and we'll go to the next city release. But if you're talking about moving cars or outdoor decor items and whatnot, that's going to have to be a semi for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, I want to get a semi. I want to get 2 kind of racy cars and a van as well. So we're just going to have to see how that all plays out with the budget. Obviously the demand's going to be huge. I hope they're not going to go much further with this whole silent auction thing, because you're just putting these in the hands of the rich kids basically, and just alienating the rest of the community, which is not a good look.
Yeah, and that's like another thing I noticed. Like a lot of the rich dudes who know how to go into their wallet and spend money, but kind of contribute nothing else. It's like they're idolized. And like, don't get me wrong, we need people like that to make the game good. But like, somebody like us or TML, T Stupid, that put shows out, or T Davis, who has like this really cool NFT thing and show, or people who are really great at treasure hunting. For me personally, those are the people I idolize, like not the ones that know how to put their hand in their pocket and take a credit card out. Even though it is needed for the game to thrive, people like that. But at the same time, like, I don't know, like, let's give everybody their due, is what I'm saying.
That's a fair point. But then I don't know if you've seen, like, obviously Abdul is the biggest whale in the game. Well, as far as I'm concerned, is probably one of the only true whales in the game. But he's all over the Upland Racing League. He's very approachable from what I can see. Obviously, if you're somebody of that stature and in that position, I can only imagine that he must get bombarded with all sorts of crappy DMs or whatever. But he's him in particular is definitely seemed to be doing a lot in the community, just maybe not as visible as some other people. But yeah, there's others who, like you say, they contribute nothing. So we shall see how it pans out. Now, I'm just having a look at the Genesis Week recap event. Now, we do know, what they got here? Upland is going global. We kind of touched on that, recognizing Upland's finest. So yeah, maybe we should dive into this a bit further. So huge congratulations to the following Uplanders for their big wins. Of course, Broadcaster of the Year was Loyal Doyle, who you said was, what was he, dancing up a storm? That's kind of funny. Designer of the Year was Retry 88. Now, did you see the post that Retry 88 put out about that?
I didn't. What did he put?
So Retry 88 he's one of those people who gets the information about all of these kind of various contests and stuff as far as designing goes. And then he employs third parties, whether that be through, the Fiverr program. There's a whole bunch of ways that you can reach out online and employ people to do, what do you call it? Not franchise. I don't know. Anyway, they work on your behalf. That they create these things in Blender. They send it back to him. He offers feedback, and then they ship him the final product, and then he submits it to Upland, which is fair enough. Upland has said that's totally acceptable. So he kind of front loaded. I don't know if he was being accused of, well, you're not a real designer or whatever, or I don't know. It seemed like there was a bit of defense in his post, but he just put it out there and said, this is the score and this is what's happening. So good on him, I say.
Yeah. Like it's a partnership. It's you work with somebody. There's ideas people, and then there's, the people who put the ideas together. Like no one is less important than the other. Some people just want to hate.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see this all the time. Whenever these contests come up, people will post, they'll say, I have a great idea. Can somebody work with me and do it? And we'll share the profits. Ideas are like, what's the saying? Ideas are like buttholes. Everyone's got one and they all stink. But
that's opinions. That's opinions.
Yeah, opinions. Well, it's kind of similar. I mean,
oh my God, Ben.
Anybody can have an idea. That's the easy part. So anybody who's ragging on Retry 88 for that, I mean, come on. He's put the effort in. He's gone out. Obviously, he's spent money to do it. So yeah, and we saw that with Lackey as well. He worked in collaboration with the Genesis Week ornaments. He worked with another player.
Shactilla.
Yeah,
she worked with an
that's
artist.
exactly right. Yeah, the design challenge winner Shactilla. She did the same thing. So yeah, and we already touched on Mooseda. And one thing we haven't touched on at all was the hackathon. Now
I think it was great, like listening to everybody go up there and kind of like talk about their thing. And I think everybody's thing that they presented was great. I think a lot of people, what I was hearing in the background was, we have this already.
Yeah.
Let's vote on something that we don't have yet. So I think that's where the voting came into play for the battle arena thing. A lot of people wanted that because they were excited to bring the stats on their NFTs up within the game. So I think it just came to the fact that, people didn't really care about updates to things that were already out. They just wanted like a variety sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that was one of the ones that I was watching along to. I think Hacker kind of did himself in when he started talking about gambling, and he kept saying gambling, and I was saying out loud, just shut up about gambling. They're not going to go for anything to do with gambling. So I think he kind of shot himself in the foot there. The two auction ones, they were kind of cool. Yeah, the Spark Exchange, as you said, that's already up and running. So that kind of, I mean, that's fair enough to ask for some money for the work you've already put in. But yeah, it's again one of those things where it's already up and running, and kind of the way Upland, they didn't really smack that down, but it seems like Upland is still working on their own Spark Exchange. So that was a bit of a funny one. And then the game right at the end, that sounded cool, but then I was watching the video and it was all Discord. I'm like, hang on a minute, Discord? Why is this all about Discord? Obviously, Upland's if they're going to spend 50 grand on something, they want it to be, something that can be utilized in the actual mechanics. So
yeah, exactly. I think, but you know what? I think it was a great opportunity regardless to kind of be able to have that platform to talk about it with such a huge audience, whether or not you got picked or not to be the winner, just going up there and talking about it is reward enough in my opinion. Like, I'm sure after that, all of those people got like DMs or an influx into their Discords of people interested. That turn game reminds me of a little bit like Dungeons and Dragons, where you have to choose what you're gonna do, and whatever you choose, like the outcome, it was really cool.
Choose your own adventure sort of thing. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Now on site you had the People's Choice Award, which I think went to Mossy Jake. In the YouTube, it was hilarious. Like, YouTube was just blowing up about none of those people could use a microphone. So the People's Choice Award on YouTube was Tim right at the end because he was the only person that could use a microphone. If the volume was so low, we couldn't hear anything. They even said one time, "Oh, can you speak into the microphone?" And I forget who it was, but yeah, they just completely blanked on it. So,
But you know what's funny? We heard everything so loud. So I think that's why the people up there were reluctant to talk even louder. I don't think it was them not talking loud enough. It was the whatever the software that they were using to stream it
yeah,
was
because
really bad.
if that's patched to the microphone and you're not speaking in the microphone, you just not going to pick it up. Yeah, I was on full volume with headphones, and you could still. There was parts there where you could barely hear anything at all.
Yeah, we heard everything crystal clear at the event and
so-
loud. Like if it was even like too loud, maybe.
Yeah, it was funny.
So,
It was very entertaining in the YouTube channel. Everyone just blowing right up about it. It was hilarious.
what Claudia bastard?
What's Shackleton asked here? Anyone know the minimum upsquared required for factories? M Motors is over 8,000 upsquared. Upland has all properties of that size locked, except for a few owned by Abdullah and LPA. Makes me wonder if factories will actually be available to the community. Does anybody know anything about this? No specifics. I do know. Yeah, we're not sure. And I guess it's of scale. Like when you're talking M Motors and the official NFLPA, those are full-on partnership deals. So that may be a different thing. As far as manufacturing plants, I'm hoping we get some information on that soon. The property that I'm going to put my manufacturing plant on in Midtown Terrace, I'm just looking at, is only 686 up squares. If that is unavailable, I do have a couple of massive properties in Fresno, which are in the, I think that might be in the 2,000 or 3,000 range. So we're just going to have to wait and see, because they have said that your manufacturing plant does not need to be in the same place as your shop front, which makes sense. That's like a real life thing. There is certain areas that are for manufacturing. How that will play into transportation is unsure. Like obviously, if my manufacturing plant is in Fresno, but my shop is in San Francisco, those outdoor decor pieces are going to have to be moved at some stage, and that's maybe where trucking or that sort of stuff comes in. So yeah, unknown at this stage. Sorry, Shackler.
And they did say that eventually they would be allowing merging of properties.
Yeah.
Because that's something that you can do in real life.
Yeah. And also, I think it was Pickle last night in the chat was asking, can I just own a manufacturing plant? Like he doesn't necessarily want to own a business and run the shop side of things. He would just like to own just the manufacturing plant. So that's a kind of interesting angle too. So,
Well, and also renting land to manufacture. Like, let's say all the land is taken and you want to open up a business. If you don't want to sell that land and you have a nice big land, you could lease that land for someone else to build a manufacturing upon it.
yes. Well,
That would
actually,
be amazing.
that reminds me that I've got some massive lots in Bakersfield as well, because when Bakersfield released, there was a lot of speculation there because of some of the massive property sizes. It was speculated that that might be where and because Bakersfield being Bakersfield, that might be where the first spark mining was going to happen. But I don't know. I haven't heard a single thing about spark mining. So we'll see what happens. Who was it? Jazz was saying we should take a look at the new roadmap. Maybe there's something in there about it. I don't know. Goldie said they made it sound like multiple structures on the same properties coming sooner than merging properties. Yep. Yeah, I think so too. Adds a use case for really large properties. Yeah, well, it looks very strange. You see some of those massive properties in Manhattan and they have a tiny little apartment building on them. It kind of looks very bizarre. But we shall see. All right, is there anything else we need to touch on? I'm just going to have a quick look through the Genesis Week recap. Of course, the grand prize. Oh, what do you think about the way they gave away the Series 1 Genesis trim, where they did the little race car thing?
When did they
Thoughts
do
on that?
this?
Well, you were there, weren't you? That they played there was there 4 or 5 people, and they had a mock little race to see who won.
I think I missed it because if this was in the Illuminarium,
Yep.
We got there about an hour late. Like
Okay.
it started at 7 and we got there at 8. But if somebody else is here that saw it, and anybody who is here and wants to speak on the event,
Yeah, it's the winner was Brooksy 95. Now I'm just pulling up their data. I think this is a pretty new player. Brooksy is current net worth 81,000 UPEX. So yeah, this is a brand new player and has won the Genesis car. Only has 9 properties. So that is a huge prize. I hope. I can imagine Brooksy just got smashed with DMs and people trying to get that out of his hands or whatever. I hope people do the right thing. Brooksy, if you happen to be listening, hold on to that, mate. And unless you have, some desire to cash out of the game or something, I would say just hold on to that tight. That's going to be worth far more in the future. And I think DAC and the URL were offering 200K just to do some kind of promotional stuff, with them. So there's opportunities. There's opportunities for Brooksy 95 to make a whole bunch of UPEX or whatever without having to let go of ownership of that car. So, I would say hold on to that as tight as you can. Although I'm not a financial advisor, so you do you, as we always say. All right, they were not even a pro. Yeah, there you go. So, is this one of these situations? Now we've seen this with the international terminals too, that people have got tickets into these things. They win these massive prizes, but they're not really even engaged in the community. They're not really entrenched in the game. Is that a concern? Like these massive prizes are going to, or not going to, they are in some cases being giving out to players who might not give a shit.
it's bittersweet in my opinion. I feel like it's definitely bad if they don't continue playing, but at the same time it's good because it kind of shows new players that they do have a chance to win really great big stuff. And it will give them the motivation more so to keep playing and building up.
Yeah, that's a fair point too. I mean, Brooksy could very easily go from an Uplander to an executive just with that car if they were to sell it. But yeah, I just hope if somebody's reaching out to do deals or whatever, that they do the right thing. Because there's no shortage of snakes around. We know that for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that there was anything else to touch on. Cars. Yeah, we still don't know what's going on there. Live streams galore. Yeah, there were plenty of live streams, but they're all at bloody 1 a.m. Genesis Week rewards. Yeah, I got an email yesterday to say, oh, congratulations, you've got Spark as part of Genesis Week. Refresh and you'll be able to claim it. And I was refreshing and I wasn't getting any Spark. Apparently it had already dropped. The email was just late or something. So that was kind of annoying. Anywho, shall we get this UPEX wheels run and done? And we can get the hell out of here. If I can remember what I'm doing. Cheese, you got your wheels up and running, but we got to see who's going to play first. Now, if you weren't aware, to be in the running for the 1 million UPEX wheels, you had to be in at the start of the show. You had to be in at about the midpoint to catch the catchphrase, and you have to be in at the end, of course, to play. Let's see who's going to go for the 1 million. It is, oh, he might be in bed. Or did it tick over? Finsky, are you there or have you gone to bed? Normally he taps out right at the end. Oh, he's here. Finsky, what was the catchphrase? Oh, he's nailed it. Her name was Lola. There you go. Finman. Jeez, bring up those wheels.
Okay.
Now he's got a very good head on his shoulders, the old Finman. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays this out. So of course, first up, we have 25,000 UpX available on this wheel. Now, once again, Cheese, you're probably just going to have to do your thing.
Finn, write down when.
Now. Alrighty, come on, Fin. Oh, we're getting close. We're getting close. Oh, just short again.
Wow.
That happens so often. 5,000 UpX, Fin. What are you going to do? You're going to bank that UpX or roll again? Doing.
Oh. Okay.
Continue. He's going to go, oh, I thought he was going to bank that. All right, we'll see how he goes. So, of course, the second wheel has 50,000 UpX available on it. 3 chances at that. But, of course, many of the other ones drop down to 2,500 or 500 UpX. All right, let's see what we got.
Let me know when, Finn.
I think he must be half asleep now. There we go. 50, 50, 50.
Oh.
He's just gone straight past it. Oh, well, this will be a no-brainer. Then he's gone from 5,000 UpX to 500 UpX. I think it goes without saying, but we'll check. Finn, do you want to bank that UpX or roll again? Roll again. All right.
Let me know.
1 mil. We got the 1 mil on this one. Now, go Cheese. All right, good luck, Finn.
Come on. Oh.
Nobody's come close with this yet, have they? Oh, he's just gone past it. 250 UpX for Finsky. Congratulations, Finsky. 250 UpX is on the way. And what else do I have to do? Oh, Zoe. Las Vegas property for Zoe. Now, don't forget the weekly podcast prize for this week is going to be 10,000 UpX. All you have to do is drop a comment in the contest channel of the MBE server or within the YouTube comments and let us know what's your plans for Rio. And that is about us. A reminder that if you have an Upland NFT or Metaverse product, service, or event to promote, opportunities are available for sponsorship and engagement in the UDU podcast, just like the Llama Comedy Club did today. Contact myself or Morecheese to discuss and secure your spots. All proceeds go towards giveaways and prizes on the podcast. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Spread the word. This show is open to the public each and every week via the MBE Discord server, and you yourself can join in for your chance at the 1 million UpX wheels, just like the Finn Man did. Alrighty, Cheese, wrap us up.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Oh man, I was too slow. I missed it.